Everyone's favorite trans activist, Dylan Mulvaney, is back. Now, I think the last time we talked about Dylan, it was because of the music video that he did where he danced around in skimpy outfits and sang about true female values. Bubble baths, alcohol, and antidepressants. Despite the clear and consistent messaging that the public, specifically women, has sent to Dylan Mulvaney over the last few years, letting him know that we are not interested in his advice or takes on womanhood or girlhood, he can't help himself. Dylan Mulvaney needs to be in the spotlight, and he continues to reemerge as a self-proclaimed expert on all things female. And honestly, we can't entirely blame Dylan for capitalizing on the attention that comes from being a man that wants to become a woman, because crazy, unhinged liberals, as we are about to see, constantly elevate these people in everything. A man becoming a woman can win you a medal in the sport of your choice. It can give you a prominent position in government. It can make you a part of history as the first insert title of a position that's never been earned by a trans person here. It can propel you into otherwise exclusive and heavily guarded circles of Hollywood elites, and it can get you book deals and pretty much grant you whatever you want in life. It can make your wildest dreams come true. All you have to do is be willing to deny science and reality and live your life in a way that pushes one of the greatest and most dangerous lies ever forced onto American society, which is that biological sex means nothing, and that if people don't accept whatever delusion you have going on in your head, that makes them bad and you're the victim. And what we know of Dylan is that he has always wanted to be famous, and the trans activism that has permeated through everything that is controlled by the left, which is Hollywood and the media primarily, it's created the path forward for him to do so. If the path to where Dylan wanted to be, and others who are willing to sacrifice their souls in the same way to get what they want, meant calling themselves llamas, picking up grass with their own teeth and ingesting it, and that's what Hollywood, the media, and Democrats in government asked of people to make their dreams come true, they'd be out there in the fields with their faces in the dirt. In this case, they haven't been told to do that exactly, but they have been told that changing your gender is normal and acceptable, and they've also been heavily incentivized to do so. So that is why Dylan keeps popping up. He has found his gravy train, and he's like, bring me all the dresses and the makeup. I'll do this forever as long as the Hollywood attention and money keeps coming in. No matter how much, again, women are like, yeah, we don't claim you. So what has Dylan been up to lately? Well, he decided to show up on International Women's Day on March 8th and participate in the festivities by promoting his new book about girlhood called Paperdoll: Notes from a Late Bloomer.
Don't laugh at me, but maybe we could be...
Is this a good time?
And then we could
Oh my God, this is the best day of my life. Happy International Women's
great
Day.
guys to have fun with. Well,
And of course, Dylan has this crowd of white liberal women defending him and showing up as if this is a legitimate celebration. Way to go, ladies, pushing the patriarchy harder than at any other time in American history. So after that whole charade, Dylan went on with the hags of The View, who are, of course, a bunch of uneducated, hysterical, screeching banshees who don't know what a woman is, and now they're trying to discuss and tell us what a female athlete is. Whoopi was upset at Gavin Newsom for recently saying that he saw the unfairness in boys competing in girls' sports, and that statement is apparently too far for Whoopi Goldberg's moral compass, which is clearly non-existent. But despite being surrounded by a table and an audience of actual biological women, she turned to the man in a dress to get his advice on how girls competing against boys should feel about this issue.
Last week, California Governor Gavin Newsom said that he thinks that trans athletes competing in girls' and women's sports was deeply unfair.
She's practically growling at girls who disagree with this and growling at parents who don't want to put their daughters at risk by allowing them to face off with boys. This woman is so incredibly, unimaginably, immeasurably vile.
Now, I want to hear what you say, because I
Well,
I'll tell you what I think, too.
Whoopi,
Yeah.
the last time I played a sport, I was 6 years old, and I was on a soccer team, but I assigned myself as the nurse. So I sat with the Band-Aids. And so in the words of Wicked, I am not that girl. But a dear friend of mine, Skylar, he is a trans athlete. His handle's Pink Manta Ray. That's someone who I really look to for guidance. And
So the guy in the dress is telling us to go to another guy in a dress for advice on female sports. Got it.
And I think that is what's tricky, is like now stepping in this identity. I'm still like a baby trans. You know, I've only 3 years in. Tomorrow's my anniversary.
Your friend went from female to male and is competing with other males.
Correct.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Her friend. Her friend. It went from female to male and is competing with other
So
males.
Gavin doesn't have a problem with that.
Well, I think part of the problem that the trans community is facing, and it's the same problem that women face, is if you don't know anything about our bodies, you don't know how it works.
Then why are you asking the man in a dress for advice on how our bodies work? If possible, this is where the conversation really goes off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come in and you say, oh, you know, these are men, you know,
competing
against women, you're assuming that the women are weak and just can't do anything except here. Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing.
Hey, even Dylan is like, Whoopi, you lost me.
I'm not sure what's going on or why this is an issue.
The reason that you don't understand why this is an issue is because you and people like you who have accepted this ideology won't listen. Female athletes who have had to deal with this problem are not against it because everyone around them is telling them that they are weak. I mean, aside from the fact that you don't have to be a scientist or an athlete to understand biological reality, and logical conclusions don't require this much mental gymnastics to make decisions that make sense and keep people safe, female athletes, based on their own experiences, are coming forward and saying, this is unfair, that they feel unsafe, that they are having opportunities stripped away from them, and that all of their hard work and sacrifice is being flushed down the drain. But people like Whoopi and every single one of these hags don't think that these experiences exist because they're the first ones to tell girls to be quiet, and they start to call them names if they try to talk about it. They're the first ones to silence these girls. So yeah, despite the official position of the United States officially being declared that there are only two sexes, which are male and female, and the overwhelming majority of the country being absolutely sick and tired of this nonsense, the left is clearly not giving up. They will continue to push this stuff out there and pretend that these people are victims, and Dylan will gladly play along. And I think in large part, this is why the left has recruited Dylan to put him back in the spotlight because, well, first of all, he's willing. This continues to get him the fame and attention that he wants. And they need their token trans victim so that they can paint Trump as the big, mean, bad orange man who won't let boys into girls' bathrooms.
I came out to my mom at age 4 as a girl.
That's not true. Dylan was gay for a long time and was happy to be gay until he discovered that the real fame and attention came from pretending to be a woman. Anyway,
I think God made a mistake and put a girl into a boy's body. And, you know, she said, God doesn't make mistakes. But, you know, a number of years later, we made it to where we needed to be. But I want them to know that we are not monsters. We are not trying to do anything but just get by and to live authentically. And I think anyone should, you know, try to support someone who is just trying their best and wants to be the best version of themselves. And for me, that is absolutely my womanhood. And no matter what my passport or the administration says, I am a woman.
No, you're not. And I'm so tired, and I think a lot of people are tired of this, of all of these people minimizing the harm that has come from pushing these ideas. That all men who are trying to live this way are just dressed in pretty clothes, and all men that are trying to do this are small and dainty and meek, like Dylan Mulvaney. They use Dylan to sell the idea that men who call themselves women are living their lives the way that Dylan is, when in reality, we end up with nutcases like this. And this. And all of this. not to mention the irreversible sterilization and mutilation of children and the lifelong psychological toll it takes on a young person to tell them that disconnecting their mind from their body is completely harmless. It's not just about the pronouns or the clothing or the makeup or just living your life as your authentic self, and that these people are just trying to get by and go unnoticed and just be who they want to be, just like anybody else. This stuff has been immeasurably harmful and dangerous, and it's sick that they keep trying to sell it as if it's pretty and enticing by packaging it like this. This stuff has made it into our homes, into our families, into our education system, into our laws, into sports, into prisons. It has infiltrated every aspect of American life. And it's fascinating that the left keeps pushing this stuff, knowing that this is an overwhelming issue for the vast majority of the country, that people do not want this stuff anymore. And we're not going to keep pretending that allowing people to live in their delusions and forcing everybody else to go along with it is harmless, and that it is the definition of compassion and empathy, because it's not. Anyway, that is all I have for you in this one. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please, again, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button as well. Other than that, keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.